So I'm sure a lot of you have been seeing these videos flying around. YouTube's on easy mode, and I actually haven't clicked on any of them, but I've just seen them. I've seen them in my algorithm, and so I thought I'd make an episode based on what I think about that, and maybe a little bit of contrast to this idea, because everything is easy when you know how. So like YouTube is on easy mode if you're using it in the right way. But if you don't know how to use it in the right way, then it's going to be really, really flipping difficult, like everything in life. So in this episode today, I'm just going to unpack, why I think it is that some channels are working and some channels aren't. And I'll just use my experience, my channel, of growing this channel up over literally the last 10 days to 671 subs, 7,000 views, 100,000 impressions, tons of engagement, and really that's all happened in 8 days, because I only really started getting impressions and followers and subscribers 8 days ago. So that's 8 days. It's pretty nuts. My intention was for this channel to grow fast, so I optimized it for that. So to see it actually working is amazing. So I've taken all the theory and put it into practice, and it's really, really working. So yeah, I'm going to just unpack why I think maybe your channel might be not working if a title like this is triggering, and maybe what you can do or what you could think about in order to kind of get your channel sort of up and running and getting more impressions and all the rest. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mark Waters, and I've been making films for almost half my life now. And I've just started really taking YouTube seriously, just literally in the last 2 weeks. But I've been building up to this. So for the last 12 months, I've really been learning, educating myself on the theory and all this sort of stuff to create my own framework and my own blueprint to be able to make sure that this works for me. Because this is a complete pivot. Like I said, I've been making films for 20 years. I've had an amazing career. It's been an amazing life. But my industry, it's not what it used to be. It's getting slower and slower and slower. And I'm a family man. I've got a couple of kids. So when I started to see my industry was shrinking, and started to see that this industry was blowing up, the creator economy, the online educational economy is just going through the roof. It was just a no-brainer to kind of take all the skills that I've learned through storytelling and filmmaking and everything else, and combining those together to build my online business around the skills that I have. So that's what I'm doing on this channel. So I actually have a strategy, a blueprint, a framework in which I'm using to do that. And that is part of the reason why I think this channel is just blowing off. Blowing up, I think it's probably a better way. What I think the main problem that people are having, and you might see this sort of title, YouTube's on easy mode, and your channel might just be like being, just doing terrible. And you're just going like, why? What's going on? Why isn't my channel blowing up like all these other guys, And, I made the last video, the video that I had before this, I'll link it up here. YouTube is pushing small creators. And again, it is pushing small creators. And again, this channel is proof of that. But it's pushing you if you're doing it the right way. And I think, again, like most people who aren't succeeding, whatever you want to call that, on YouTube, you're not getting impressions, you're not getting views, you're not growing your business, whatever it is, it's because it's just not being optimized properly. And so you might just be using it in the same way in which I was using my old channel. So I've got another channel which has 8,500 subscribers on it. It's been a dumping ground for trailers, short films, all sorts of stuff like that. And I kind of just thought, like, I'll just put the things on there, and the channel will grow, and that was like my idea. But again, at the same time, I wasn't really planning on growing that channel. My stuff was on Vimeo, and YouTube was just like a side platform. I'd just put things in, kind of leave it. And then when I started to see just how the impact that people are creating from building YouTube channels and building online businesses, I started to really see how important YouTube was, and that's why I'm putting so much attention into it now. That's why I'm going all in. And when I tried to get my last channel up, when I tried to get the engine going, started to try and bring more of my own, build my personal brand around it, because before I never put my face on camera, it was just my work. It just wasn't really doing anything. I was getting a couple of hundred views here, and I was having to share it like crazy on all my Facebook and my Instagram and all that sort of stuff to try and get some sort of traction, but it just wasn't really working. And I kind of got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm either going to keep that channel going or I've got to start from scratch. And everything that I was learning, all the theory was kind of pointing me towards start from scratch, optimize it, and your channel will grow. So I've got experience in a channel not growing by not optimizing it properly. And I've got this new channel, which is growing like mad. By optimizing, by actually knowing what it is that I'm doing. And again, everything is easy when you know how. So so I thought I would just give you a little bit of an idea of the actual framework that I'm using in order to do this. So I think a lot of people are talking about this, but it's still fairly quiet, I think, in like the broader YouTube sort of scene, that when you're growing a YouTube channel, if you actually want to create something which is sustainable, you're not going to burn out, where you can actually create a life around it, create some freedom over your time, you really need to think about building a business around it. So rather than thinking about yourself as a YouTuber, you need to think of yourself as an entrepreneur or solopreneur. I get these words mixed up. But you really need to think about, like, what can you bring? You know, what are your talents? What are your gifts? What are the skills that you have? What have you built up throughout your life? What's your worldview? How can you refine that, get clear on that, and use that to be able to create impact for other people, to be able to help people? So it's really education. This is all online education. What I'm doing right now is online education. So I'm building an online educational business, and I'm using YouTube to build my audience. This is the sole reason for why I'm actually doing YouTube. I'm not doing YouTube to be a YouTuber. You know, it's just not my passion. It's not my thing. I want to build a whole system, a whole business, and use YouTube as a part of that. And it's really the engine to be able to build my audience. So I'm going to break down like actually how this happens. So in order to really do this, you really need to know, what are you good at? You know, like, what have you done with your life? What are the kind of things that you're passionate about? What could you talk about all day? What kind of things do people come to you and ask you questions about? Your friends, your family? What kind of problems are you solving in their lives? That's what you're good at. That's your gifts. You know, that's one place that you can start. And once you refine that, once you really figure out what that is, you can really figure out what your offer is. Like, how do you take that and offer it to people? How do you build that offer out? How can you make it something that people are actually gonna take value from, and you can actually help them in their lives? And once you've got that, you've really just got to think about, okay, who wants this? Who actually wants the thing that I'm good at? Who is actually gonna care? And you start building your messaging, you start building everything that you're doing around attracting that kind of audience. So you see, that's what's happening here. So everything that I'm doing, I'm building up an audience, I'm building up people who are probably interested in growing a personal brand, who are looking at growing their YouTube channels, people that are looking to grow an online business, and to ultimately get free. We all want freedom, and freedom, unfortunately, it's very hard to get maximum freedom without getting money. So you need to have some sort of business that creates the money. So in order to create some sort of business, you have to have some sort of value. And in order to find out what that value is, you've got to figure out what it is that you're good at. And again, I know I've been talking about this a lot. So much of what I want to do here and what I think is going to make this space different is I want to be able to help you as well figure out what that is, figure out who you are, figure out what your gifts are, figure out what your purpose is. So I'll also be creating a lot of stuff around that, a lot of episodes around self-inquiry, self-development, really recognizing who we are on a fundamental level so that we can really show up as ourselves to be able to help people on the highest level. So that's what's happening here. So you think, like, again, like, some people, they're not thinking about it in this way. They're just putting videos up that they think is like, that they find interesting, but maybe they're not really taking the next step and being like, who cares? You know, who actually cares about what it is that I'm doing? So you really need to think about this stuff, you know, and it's like, I've been building this channel in the same way in which I'd think about making a film. You know, I've been making documentaries and films for so long, and I think about the story. There's a story to everything. There's not just an intro. You know, there's an intro, there's an inciting event. The girl goes up on this crazy journey, lots of battles and struggles along the way, but they're moving towards some sort of goal. They've got a dream outcome. They've got something that they're trying to achieve. And throughout the journey, they're trying to figure out what that is. And at the end, there is some sort of like end goal that they're trying to get to. And sometimes they get there, sometimes they don't. And I think that's pretty much like our stories. You know, we're moving towards this end goal, maybe our dream life, you know, freedom of time, to be able to do the things that we want, to be able to leverage this, to be able to actually do the things that we want. That's my intention for this. It's all about freedom. It's always been my highest goal, always been my highest value. So that is kind of where I am here. So that's something I think you really need to think about. You need to really get clear, super clear, and I know I've said this in all my episodes, but how important it is to get clear on what it is that you actually want from your life, who you are, your gifts, your purpose, and how it is that you can actually help people with that. So yeah, I just think that like the more people can understand this, the more success, whatever you want to call it, we'll see on YouTube. And everyone's approaching YouTube in a different way. You might be an entertainer. You might be just doing it for a passion on the side. You're not really looking to build a business around or anything like that. But this takes time. You know, I'm sitting down here. I'm thinking up ideas. I'm figuring out some sort of structure. And I'm thinking about things that will really help the kind of people that I can attract. And I'm doing 3 of these a week right now. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I've been doing that. Well, I started it last week, so I've done 4 episodes. Which I did 1 the week before and it did well. So I actually thought this is actually a good idea. Try 3 a week for 12 episodes and we'll see what happens. So we're not just sitting down here and doing this for fun, even though I'm actually having quite a lot of fun doing it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the community. I'm really enjoying the comments. I'm enjoying the whole thing. But I'm really excited about the potential of this, about building this whole system out, which all comes from my worldview, my perspective, the things that I've learned, the philosophy, the worldview, the gifts that I have. I don't really like calling them gifts. I feel like a bit of a I don't, it just feels weird. The things that, talents, whatever it is. I spent a long time understanding how to tell a story. I spent a long time learning how to understand light. I spent a long time understanding how to create balance in the frame, to tell a story, to really create impact. So those are the things, again, that I'm pulling into this. But now that I understand so much of the distribution, again, YouTube is your distribution. This isn't the be all end all. YouTube is just your distribution to be able to get your message to the right people. And then you want to generally take people to your, whatever it is you offer. It could be in any form whatsoever. It could be an online course. It could be a program. It could be consulting. It could be anything. So you really want to be using YouTube to be able to sort of generate that so that you can bring people into your offer. So I hope that makes sense, because I genuinely think that is the most important thing that you really need to think about when going from, hard mode to easy mode on YouTube. Because in a nutshell, it is an easy mode, but take it out that nut and it's ridiculously hard. And I know there's a lot of people that are just struggling, burning out, trying to make this work. So you've got to leverage whatever it is that you're good at. What's going to separate you from the pack? What is going to separate you so that you can stand out? And again, I'm competing in pretty much one of the most saturated niches. It's actually a bit stupid that I even thought that this was a good idea, but luckily it's actually working. It's a very saturated niche, but I'm carving out my space. I'm doing things differently. And seeing in the comments, you guys are really enjoying it. You're enjoying the vibe. You're enjoying these straight to camera, no cutting, all that sort of stuff. This is what I love. I love this vibe. I love the liveness. It's alive. We're here, we're present with each other. I'm not sort of like, editing myself out. This is what we would be like if we were hanging out in a cafe, having a little chat. So yeah, I'm really stoked. I'm really stoked at how it's going. And I'm loving hearing from you guys in the comments. I've had so many awesome comments in there. All your comments have been super helpful, getting a vibe for who you are, what your problems are, the kind of things you want to see, and also the kind of things that you're enjoying on this. And I'm trying to respond to all of you. I think I've responded to most, but even at, I'm not even at 1,000 subs, and I'm really struggling to comment because there's a lot going on here. I'm doing 3 videos a day. I've got a family, I've got 2 kids, got to go home, got to play them in the park. We play lines and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, if I don't get back to you, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best, and keep it up. I'm really enjoying it. You guys can also start chatting in the comments as well. You can answer each other's questions if you want. And yeah, if you want to take this further, I do have a school community. It's growing. It's great. I'm really happy to see all you guys coming in. And that's where all my stuff is going to be happening. That's where my programs are going to be. That's where my courses are going to be. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, pull in, get involved. I want to see you in there, and let's see how this thing grows. And I'm super excited to keep going and keep pushing and giving guidance to you in any way I can. So that's it. That's it for today. Thanks for staying till the end, and I will see you in the next one.